Hey, Lucy and Acadia. I am going to continue reading with something that we started reading when we were all at Yale in Connecticut together a couple of months ago. Hope you remember that. Remember Benjamin Franklin, the statue? Remember us being all there? Grandmommy was there too. We started reading Emma on Thin Icing. And then I recorded a couple of chapters for you a few weeks ago. And then I had to check the book back into the library, but I just got it again, so I can continue reading it. And remember the story here about the Cupcake Club. Emma, I'll show you her picture, which one she is in a minute. She is really busy because her mother had to take a different job, at least temporarily. And so now she isn't at home as much, particularly at night. And Emma has to help take care of her younger brother, and sometimes she has to help cook. And besides that, she has a job walking dogs, and she's in the Cupcake Club, and she plays the flute at school, and she has to go in for that sometime. So she is really busy, but she's trying to save money for a blender that she can use with the Cupcake Club because she doesn't have a good blender. So when they make cupcakes over at her house, they don't really have the right equipment. So she's trying to save up money for that. And now she's been asked to be in the wedding of the mother of one of the friends. And so she realizes that she's going to have to buy a dress. Maybe that's what happens in the first chapter I'm going to read today. So that's a story of Emma. Hopefully you remember it. And I'm going to pick up, I've read chapters 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to pick up with chapter 4. So here we go. Okay. Let's make sure this is all set up. This is Emma. Let's see, put it out right about there. This is Emma. It's called Emma on Thin Icing. And there she is. She's trying to walk dogs. And there are her friends. Remember the friends? That's Alexis. That's Mia. Emma with long blonde hair, and that's Katie. I think the first book we read was about Katie. She was a runner, remember? She was on the track team, and she everyone was telling her she looked icky because she wasn't very stylish, but it turns out that the boys she liked her for what she was, not whether she looked stylish or not. So here we go. Chapter 4, Emma on Thin Icing, and the name of this chapter is Burned, B-U-R-N-E-D. And she writes this in the first person. That means she says, the book says I. If it were to say she, then it would be what's called the third person. But when a book says I or we, that means it's the person is writing it who it's about. So she says, I was so busy with school, flute, babysitting Jake, and walking Jenner, that's the dog, Jake, babysitting Jake, Jake's the little brother, Jenner's the dog, that the week flew by. Alexis had sent round our cupcake proposals for approval by email, and after reaching a consensus, she had emailed them on to our clients, Mia's mom being one. I think it's Mia's mom who's getting married. Friday came quickly, and after a quick pit stop at the grocery store for supplies after school, the Cupcake Club came over for a meeting and to bake up a few samples of a new recipe of Katie's. The plan was that after we baked, we would head downtown for a slice of pizza and the movie. This is when they had movies in theaters. You've been to theaters a few times. Alexis called the meeting to order and said that Mia's mom would like to sample the bacon cupcakes for the groom's cake before she placed her final order for the wedding cupcakes. Alexis coughed and shot me a look. She'll love it once she tastes it, I promise. Okay, so Emma's the one that thinks it's a good idea to have bacon cupcakes. We agreed to meet next Friday to bake them. Mia would take them home afterwards. Next, Mia confirmed the timing for the club's outing to the bridal store the next morning. The bridal store, that's because they have to get gowns to wear to the wedding, and that's expensive. They have to pay for them themselves. My stomach turned over the reality of as the reality of the dress set in. I really hadn't paid attention to the emails about the plan because I didn't want to. I didn't want to ask Mom for money for it, and I wasn't sure I was going to have enough from dog walking or cupcake making. Finally, we discussed some leads we had for other jobs. Then it was time to bake. On the menu today were raspberry swirl cupcakes with a pink cream cheese frosting. It tastes so good. I was beating the frosting with a hand mixer. See, she has a hand mixer because she hasn't been able to buy the electric one yet. Having to pause and rest the mixer on its back while I added ingredients. I couldn't help fantasizing about the hand-free pink stand mixer. Someday soon. Mia had brought 3 bridal magazines, and the others were all flipping through them while the cupcakes baked in the oven. Tomorrow, we were going to the special day bridal shop at the Chambers Street Mall, and Mia wanted us to get some ideas before we went. Hey, here's a really cute one, declared Katie. I peered over Katie's shoulder to see the dress that she was pointing at. I looked at the price first. All the prices were a lot more than I thought. I had never really paid attention when I went shopping with Mom before, and lately there hadn't been much shopping. I couldn't remember how much a dress was supposed to cost, but the ones in the magazines were a lot of money. Ooh, look at this one, said Alexis. She handed the magazine across to Mia, and I leaned over to see it. It was a white shin-length dress with a sash. It was beautiful. It was also $350. I gulped and prayed Mia wouldn't like it. Oh, that is pretty, said Mia. I love it. But $350? No way. Whew, I thought. I love my friends. That is crazy. That's business for you, baby, said Alexis, reaching out her hands to take the magazine back. They want to suck every possible dollar out of the big day. The back door opened and shut with a bang. Bang. Emma! It was Sam. Sam's the older brother. Mia, Alexis, and Katie sat up straight and adjusted their outfits and hair, trying to look good for Sam. It was kind of funny and kind of not. In here, I called. Sam walked into the kitchen. Yum! Did you save any for me? Mia flipped her hair. We will, she said with a big smile. They're not ready yet, I said. Katie and Alexis stopped talking, and for Alexis, that was a big deal. She just looked at Sam and smiled. I guess Sam's a good-looking guy, huh? Katie couldn't even look at him. She just stared at her sneakers. Sam smirked. I think he thought it was cute that all my friends had crushes on him. Here are your passes for the movie. Have fun. He slid them across the counter. Okay, Sam works at the movie theater, so he was able to get passes. That's a perk of his job, I guess. He can get free passes for his friends sometimes. Thanks, I said. Have you seen it? Asked Mia. Part of it. It's killer, said Sam. Gotta go. The back door opened and slammed closed again. Okay, hold on. Here's Grandmommy. She's been working out in the yard. Say hi, Grandmommy.
Hello?
I'm reading to them.
Okay.
Look at how hard Grandmommy's working. She's all out of breath from digging holes for her plants. She loves her plants.
Okay.
All right, back to reading. Grandmommy's going out to the yard to work again. She's planting new plants before it gets too cold. Where were we? Okay, they were talking about the movie. The back door opened and slammed closed again. He's really cute, said Katie. Totally, agreed Mia, and so nice. Depends on the day, I said. But Sam was pretty nice. Nicer than Matt. Such a hard worker, said Alexis dreamily, and we all roared with laughter. All Alexis thought about was business. Katie stood and went to peek in the oven at the cupcakes. She's looking to see if they're done. Almost, she said. Don't overbake them, warned Alexis, picking up the timer and glancing at it. Remember our bottom line. We wasted a whole batch last week because we got distracted by a reality TV show. We had to toss them all and start over. It had been a total waste of money and time. The phone rang. I checked the caller ID and saw it was Jenner's owner, Mrs. Anderson, calling from work. Hi, Mrs. Anderson, I said. Had I done anything wrong? Mentally, I reviewed my last visit to the Andersons. I was sure I'd locked up. Hi, honey. Oh, that caller ID still gives me a start. Anyway, I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Okay, this is the owner of the dog that she dog sits and walks. Sure, I said, relieved. Any chance you could give Jenner a quick run around the block today? The girls have a birthday party, and I'm going straight from work to meet them there, and I totally forgot. The poor guy won't make it. See, they have to take the dog out because the dog can't do his bathroom business in the house, so he's kind of holding on to it. Somebody's got to go take him out for a walk. Otherwise, it's not going to be good. I looked at my watch. I had to meet Jake at the school bus in 15 minutes. The cupcakes would have to come out in a few minutes, then cool before we frosted them. Then we absolutely had to leave for pizza by 5 when Matt got home. The movie was at 6:20, but Mrs. Anderson depended on me, and I hated to say no. Plus, if I was going to have to buy a bridesmaid's dress, then I needed the money. I planned it out in my head. Hang on just 1 second while I check something. I covered the phone. Would you guys meet Jake's bus for me while I run over to the Andersons? The others looked surprised, but readily agreed. Jake's so cute, said Katie, who didn't have any siblings of her own. Let's hope so, I said. Then, returning to the call, I said, sure, no problem. Great. I'll just double up on the money for next time when you come, okay? Asked Mrs. Anderson. That's fine. Don't worry. Bye. I hung up and took off my pink apron. Mia was looking at me strangely. What? I asked. Mrs. Anderson needs me to go walk Jenner. I'll just be a second. The frosting's almost ready. It just needs vanilla and one more whip. Then we'll have to wait until the cakes are done to frost them anyway. I'll be back in no time. Don't worry. Take your time. It's no problem. Really, it's no problem. Mia stood to assume the role of Chief Frosting Officer. Okay, Mia is the Chief Frosting Officer. She smiled, but she seemed, something was wrong. Was Mia annoyed? I couldn't think about it long. I had to run. Okay, thanks. Be back in less than half an hour. Jake will be here in 10 minutes. So the girls, she's now relying on the girls to go pick Jake up from the bus. I hope they don't forget. That's going to be a real problem if she forgets. I ran down the block to the Andersons. Jenner jumped up, happy to see me, and I took him out. It took him forever to do his business, probably because he was off schedule. But he finally did, and then I ran him around the block a couple of times for good exercise. I miscalculated how long it would all take. It had been about 45 minutes. I glanced at my watch and ran home. When I got there, I saw Jake's backpack flung on the driveway and the back door standing open. Hello? I called, entering the house, but there was no reply. Only the smell of very burnt cupcakes. They were sitting on the counter, dark brown as pretzels and just as hard. So the cupcakes burned. Bummer, I said. Guys? I walked through the downstairs, listening for my friends and little brother. They could hardly be this quiet. I opened the door to the basement rec room. Maybe they were playing video games? Then I heard a hello from behind me. It was Matt, just arriving. I walked to the kitchen. Are you just getting here? I asked. Yeah, but I'm 10 minutes early. Give me a break, said Matt, bristling. Mom had read him the riot act for ditching Jake on me the other day, and he'd been conscientious about his 2 turns since then. No, I'm not annoyed at you. It's just, where's Jake? Asked Matt. My heart sank. I'm not sure. Was he here before? I saw his backpack. Matt headed out to the driveway. I followed him. Oh no, Jake is lost. The Cupcake girls are gone. The cupcakes are burned. What the heck happened? I know, but I had to go walk Jenner, so I wasn't here. What? Matt exploded. You mean he came home to an empty house? No, my friends were here. I'm sure they met him. I asked them to, but now I don't know where they are. You left your friends in charge? Those Cupcake girls? Matt knew that it drove me crazy when he pretended not to know my friends' names. Yes, Alexis, Mia, and Katie, I said, trying not to get angry. They're very responsible. I'm telling Mom, gloated Matt. You shirked your duty. Never mind that. I started to get a little panicky. Where did they go? Well, they couldn't have gotten far. They weren't driving, were they? He teased. That's a joke because they're too young to drive. I didn't answer. He thought it was funny, but I knew something could be wrong. I'll go check the park. Why don't you check? I'm not checking anything, said Matt happily. This is your problem. I'll be in here relaxing. Good luck. You're a jerk, I said. I walked quickly to the park, but it still took about 5 minutes, and there was no sign of them there. Where else could they be? The duck pond? I hustled over, but there was no sign of them there either. Oh, why wouldn't my parents let me have a cell phone? Well, I knew why. It was expensive. Mom and Dad had taken them back as a cost-saving measure, but it was so worth it. I decided to ask for mine back again when Mom got her old job back. Where could they be? Ice cream? Camden's? Can they have gone that far? But there was no sign. Now I had been searching for more than 20 minutes, and it was 5:15. I decided to run home and check and see if they had returned. By now, I realized that my friends would take care of Jake, so nothing bad had probably happened. But where were they? When I turned up my block, I could see that Jake's backpack was no longer in the driveway, and there was certainly no way he'd picked it up himself. One of the girls must have done it. Phew! They were home. I slowed down and sauntered up the driveway, relieved. But Dad flung the back door angrily. Emma, where is your little brother? Oh, no. Isn't he here? I said, cringing. Obviously not, since Dad was so mad. Matt appeared in the doorway behind him, grinning through a mouthful of burnt cupcake. I'm going out in the car to look for them, Dad said harshly. I'll come, I said readily. No, you stay here and call my cell in case they come back while I'm gone. He dashed out and backed the car out of the garage. You know these things aren't half bad if you load up on the frosting, said Matt as he helped himself to another cupcake. He's talking about the burnt cupcakes. They're not too bad as long as you put a lot of frosting on them. Oh, what a terrible thing. Shut up, I said, and I went to wait on the back stoop. 20 minutes later, which seemed like about 4 hours later, Jake and the girls returned. I ran in and dialed Dad's cell as soon as I saw them coming. Good, was all he said, and then hung up. Oh boy, I ran back outside. Jake was covered in ice cream, and he held 2 large candy bars, one in each hand. Oh, so they took him out for ice cream and candy bars. He was laughing and joking, and the girls were laughing at him. No one seemed hurt or mad or frustrated, except me. What happened? I demanded, coming down the sidewalk to meet them. Mia rolled her eyes. This one sure doesn't like babysitters, do you, pal? She ruffled Jake's hair. I like you, said Jake winningly. The girls all laughed. Now you tell us, said Alexis. Where were you? I asked, trying not to yell. The girls explained how Jake had been upset that I wasn't there to meet them. So he'd had a temper tantrum and taken off down the street. They chased him and caught him, at which point he became hysterical and demanded candy. Oh my gosh. Old Jake, what a difficult little brother. He said, you buy him 2 pieces from Camden's every day, said Katie incredulously. Is that true? No, it's not, I said icily. I was glaring at Jake, and he ducked his head guiltily. Anyway, we figured out we'd better bribe the kid, so we took him round and bought him some stuff, finished Mia. Clearly, I said. The cupcakes burned while he was having the temper tantrum. Luckily, Katie remembered and ran back to turn them off before they burned down the house. That is lucky, I said, thinking that would have really made Dad mad. I looked at my watch. It was 5:40. There was no way we were going to make it for pizza, but we could still make the movie. I was really mad and really tired. Then I looked up at my friends. They had tried to help me out. It wasn't their fault Jake was such a pain. I just messed up with the timing. I just have to plan better next time, that's all. Guys, I'm so sorry. Thank you for dealing. I really appreciate it. I smiled at them. They were such good friends, and I was grateful. But you, I said, turning to Jake, you are in trouble with me, mister. No candy for you next week. Not on my watch. Jake hung his head. Okay, Sarge, he said. Let's go. Matt's waiting for you, and we have to leave. Sorry about the cupcakes, you guys. They were looking good. It's okay, said Mia. How was the dog walking, she asked. Good, I said. How much do they pay you, asked Alexis. $5 a walk. Okay, so $5 every time she walks a dog. That's a lot of money. But it took her 45 minutes. I said proudly. Wow, said Katie. Pretty good, considering if you had your way, you'd have your own dog and be walking it for free. I smiled. Yeah, a dog is definitely not in the budget for our family right now. I felt badly about saying it as soon as it came out of my mouth. So she's letting her friends know that they're tight on money. That means they don't have as much money as maybe her friends do. She didn't really mean to say it that way, but now they know. Mia was quiet. We went back into the house and hustled to clean up the kitchen. Then Dad came in. Hey, buddy, he said to Jake as Jake ran to greet him. Emma's going to the movies with the babysitters, said Jake. Not yet, she's not, said Dad. Emma, may I see you in here for a minute, please? I felt my face get hot and put down the cupcake tin I was drying. I followed Dad into the living room. I felt my friend's eyes on me. Okay, so now her dad is going to say some mean things to her. He's mad at her. I don't know if you can see this well. Anyway, that's a book I'm reading. I don't know if you can see the words. It doesn't look very bright in the screen, the video screen. But let's go. This is what Dad says to Emma. Emma, he said quietly, I know you've got a lot on your plate right now. We all do. But you have taken on way too much. When your brother is in danger because of your decisions, it's time for you to take a look at your priorities. And it sounds like this was the second time this week there was an incident that involved dog walking. I put my head down, thinking of Jake and Jenner and the scooter ride the other day. Jake wasn't in danger, though, I protested weakly. I knew Dad was right. Your primary responsibilities are to your family and taking care of yourself. I think it's wonderful that you are so entrepreneurial with the Cupcake Club and the dog walking. I know it's terrific to earn your own money, and, well, I know you need it right now for some of the little extra we've had to cut back on. And I understand that you are trying to incorporate Jake too, which Mom and I appreciate. But I just think you are getting stretched a little too thin right now. Do you understand? I nodded. Visions of expensive bridesmaid dresses swam in my head. Without the cupcakes and the dog walking, there was no way I could afford that dress. Dad tipped my chin up to look him in the eye. You are a very capable young lady. You are just like your mom, organized, energetic, and kind, and we're proud of you. She's just like your mom too, Lucy. And Acadia isn't she? That's what your mom is, organized, energetic, and kind. And we're proud of you. I know Jake can be a handful, but we're all trying to get by the best we can. I just don't want to see you making the wrong decisions or mix up your priorities. I nodded. I didn't think I was making wrong decisions. I was getting things done. I was walking Jenner and doing my homework and practicing flute and contributing to the Cupcake Club and helping out as much as I could at home. I even made dinner a lot. Jake was the only thing that was a problem. I knew that was mean, but it was true. It's just Jake. Dad sighed. You're a good kid, sweetheart, and I hate to say this, but if there's another incident with Jake, we're going to have to make some hard decisions about what you can and can't spend your time on, okay? And this includes the club and dog walking. Uh-oh. It's okay, Dad, I understand, I said, but I really didn't. I would just do better, I thought. I didn't want anyone to worry about me, and I could take care of myself pretty well. Dad hugged me and patted me on the head. Now it's time to go. I can still go to the movies, I said, kind of surprised. Dad laughed. Yes, you should go have fun with your friends. Thanks, Dad, I said, and flung my arms around him. Then I ran into the kitchen. Katie, Alexis, and Mia were waiting, having finished cleaning up the whole kitchen. Matt smirked at me from the TV room where he and Jake were watching Sports Center. I could tell he was happy I was in trouble. Brothers are like that. And that he thought I was grounded. Have fun, kids, Matt said. We will, I called back with a big smile on my face. Matt looked like he couldn't believe it. I felt good. Things were getting better already. Yeah, Matt thought she was going to be grounded and couldn't go to the movies. The pizza's on me, Dad said, glaring at Matt. You still have time, and I'll drop you off. We all climbed into the minivan and off we went. I just hoped that the Will Smith movie had nothing to do with cupcakes or dogs or brothers. Chapter 5. Okay, I'm going to have to take a long drink of water here, girls. My voice is starting to get ragged. There was a lot of drama in that chapter, wasn't there? Did you worry about what happened to Jake and where the cupcake friends were? I did. What the heck happened to Jake? I'm drinking water in my water mug. Okay, here we go. Emma on thin icing. Just reminding you again what Emma looks like. And Alexis, here we go. Alexis, Mia, Emma, Katie. The dress that takes the cake. The dress that takes the cake. Here we go. Let me see, maybe adjust this a little bit more. I'm not sure that's right. There we go. The dress that takes the cake. Mom was making her specialty, banana chocolate chip pancakes for breakfast on Saturday morning. I could smell the bananas and the warm melting chocolate all the way up in my room, even with the door closed. I lay in bed thinking about them until I could taste them. Then I couldn't wait anymore and scrambled downstairs to the kitchen. Hi, Mama, I called, using my babyish private name for Mom. In public, of course, she was Mom, and in public, I was Emma. Good morning, love bug. That's what Mom calls Emma, love bug. Good morning, love bug, Mom said back, using her babyish private name for me. Mom was already dressed in khakis and a cute lavender sweater. Her blonde hair was tied back in a short, bouncy ponytail with a pink ribbon, and she had Keds on her feet. Keds are kind of little tennis shoes. Mom got dressed within 5 seconds of getting up. She's very quick. I only saw her in pajamas when she was sick. People always joked that she looked like she could be my sister, but when you got close, you could see from her smile lines that she definitely was Mom age. Mom came around the island to give me a big squeeze and a kiss on top of my Bedhead. That's when your hair is all messed up from sleeping. A kiss on top of her bedhead. I hopped up on a stool, tucking my legs up under my nightie. Yum! Thanks, Mama, for making these. I've been craving them myself, Mom said, but I'm really making them as a thank you to all you kids. I know what a bumpy week this has been, and I really appreciate all your help. I'm very proud of you all. Katie, I wonder how much older are you going to have to be before you help out at the house like Emma does? I know you help with Lucy because you spent a lot of time with Lucy, and that helps everybody. And you're getting to be a big girl now. I don't know when you can go walk a dog, or make cupcakes, but within a year or two, or 3 or 4. Back to the story. I wasn't sure Mom should be too proud of Matt or Brat or Jake the Snake or even me, but I didn't say anything. Late last night, when everyone had come home and was relaxing in the TV room, everyone except Jake, who had been fed and bathed and put to bed at a reasonable hour by Mom, everyone agreed that Mondays and Wednesdays were Matt's days to meet Jake, and Tuesdays and Thursdays were mine. Okay, that's the schedule. Emma's got to meet the bus and pick Jake up on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Matt has to get him on Mondays and Wednesdays. Sam would meet him on Friday. Matt's days to meet him. Matt's days. So Matt and Sam. Oh, she's got 2 older brothers, Matt and Sam. Okay. Sam would meet him on Fridays. Everyone was happy with the solution for now, and there was temporary peace in our house. So, how's your new job? I asked, propping my chin in my hand. Give me all the details. Mom started filling me in on the details of the characters she worked with and the section of the store that she managed, cooking and fiction, and where she went on her breaks. Okay, she works in a bookstore and she manages the cooking section and the fiction sections. Fiction means stories. And where she went on her breaks. She told me that she saw a few cookbooks that had some cupcake recipes I might like. It felt good to just be relaxing in the kitchen. I wasn't worried about babysitting Jake or walking Jenner or how much things cost. I was just happy to be with my mom eating pancakes. It was like it used to be. So today's the day I'm going to the mall with Mia and her mom and all the cupcake girls to look for the dress, I said. I wasn't sure where I was headed with this. I had filled Mom in on the exciting junior bridesmaid news already. Oh, what fun, said Mom. She was quiet for a moment, then she bit her lip. She had that worried look on her face that she seemed to get a lot these days. What? I asked, but I pretty much knew. Oh, nothing. I was just thinking, said Mom. Are you wondering how much the dress will cost? I asked quietly. Because I gulped, I have money saved up that I can use. Oh, no, sweetheart, it's not that at all, really. And I don't want to use your savings on something like that. Not when you've worked so hard. That's for the mixer. Look, we'll just cross that bridge when we come to it, okay? You just find a pretty dress, and then Dad and I will figure it out. But what if I found a dress that was too expensive? I was worried. I guess I'm a lot like Mom because the same worried look must have shown on my face. Mom wiped her hands on the worn apron she was wearing and then leaned over, putting her arms around me. I love you, Muffin, and I don't want to see you taking the weight of the world on your shoulders. Dad and I can make things work, okay? It's not all up to you. Though I appreciate your sensitivity and your work ethic, the most important thing is that you have fun at the store today and on the wedding day. The rest will fall into place, all right? I smiled to make her feel better, but I felt awful. I hated seeing Mom so worried, and all for a silly dress. I would just pay for the dress myself. I'd take my cupcake and my dog walking money and use my mixer fund money to pay for the rest. The mixer could wait. It wasn't that bad to use a handheld one. I felt a lot better. Mom turned back to the stove and loaded up another plate of gooey, sweet pancakes. Hot off the press, she said. Enjoy, and she handed it to me. Yum! Now, let's talk about your trip to the bridal store today. What fun, Mom said. What color dress do you think you'll buy? Mom was excited, and suddenly I was too, and we talked about colors and long or short dresses and sashes and bows, and I finished a third plate of pancakes before Matt came downstairs and yelled, "Hey, save some for me." And Mom got up and to get him some too. Yeah, she's got two older brothers, Matt and Sam. Matt is the oldest one, and he's kind of nice. I'm sorry, Sam is the older one, and he's kind of nice. Matt is kind of stinky. The ride to the mall was giggly. Okay, they're all going to the mall now. We were squished into Mia's mom's Mini Cooper. That's the name of a car. But we didn't mind. But because of the tight space and the squishing and the fact that we were really excited, we couldn't stop laughing. Sometimes that happens a lot with us, and we just laugh so hard that we can't stop. What did you Cupcake girls eat for breakfast today? Frosting? Asked Mia's mom with a grin, and this made us all laugh harder. We finally got it together as we walked into the mall and into the store. The special day bridal store made us all quiet. Okay, this is a bridal store. This is where you buy things for a wedding. There was a big white door, and as soon as you stepped inside, it was like another world. There was thick, plush white carpeting and big white sofas and chairs and pretty roses all over the store and big pots and vases and even hanging from a gleaming chandelier. Everything was quiet and there was soft music playing. It was the prettiest store I had ever seen. Yeah, you know why it's all like that? It's because it's very expensive. Really, really, really nice stores like that are usually very expensive. So be on your guard when you go into a store that looks so nice. Isn't it incredible? Mia whispered to me. To die for, I said, using one of Mom's favorite expressions. And it was. Like a fairy tale, Katie said breathlessly. Is this a franchise? Asked Alexis, looking around. I rolled my eyes and laughed. Leah didn't have a romantic bone in her body. Alexis didn't have a romantic bone in her body. Alexis just wants to know whether it's a franchise or a standalone store. A franchise is like one store in a string of stores. Like McDonald's is a franchise because they're all over the place. But this store might just be one of a kind instead of a franchise. That's what Alexis wants to know. She's all about business. She wants to know the business side. Back to the story. Inside, the tall, elegant manager came to the front of the store to meet us with her hands outstretched in a friendly greeting. Call me Mona, she declared. She kissed Mia's mom on each cheek. And then Mia's mom took a moment to properly introduce each of us. Okay, so Mia's mom is using this shop and Mona to help her with her bridal stuff. Mona made a special effort to greet each of us, complimenting our looks or outfit or saying how happy she was to have us in her store. I wasn't used to salespeople being so nice. Usually they just rang me up or opened the dressing room door with one of those little keys. Follow me, ladies, said Mona. Let's go back to where we can be comfortable and talk about what you were looking for. Okay, another drink. Need a drink of water here. Here we go. Glub, glub, glub. Okay. Wow, whispered Katie as we followed Mona's trim, stylish figure across the white wall-to-wall carpeting. This is super fancy. I got a little nervous. It was fancy, and fancy meant expensive, yes. There were gorgeous wedding dresses on mannequins and on racks on the walls, and more beautiful chairs and sofas and coffee tables with Kleenex boxes and oversized white binders that Mia pointed out as look books. Okay, they're binders that you look through. Because they'd been here before to select her mom's dress, and because her mom worked in fashion, Mia was very comfortable in the fancy setting. I noticed that all the salespeople were really pretty, prettier than most of the customers, which was kind of funny, and everyone spoke in hushed and ladylike tones, like the indoor voice, as we told Jake. I stood up straighter, and I was glad I'd taken Mia's advice and dressed up for the occasion in a skirt and my ballet flats. This was not the kind of place to wear sneakers. We went into sofas and chairs and around a table. There was a plate piled high with delicate sugar cookies, and there was a silver tea service. My grandmother had a tea set like that, but I never had actually seen her use it. I noticed that there were a lot of tissue boxes around. I pointed at them. "Oh," said Mia, "that's because brides are so beautiful, everyone cries a lot." Mia assigned one assistant to dole out snacks to us, and another was sent to round up the rack of the junior bridesmaid dresses. I noticed that there was an entire row of mirrors so you could see yourself in all directions. Mona's assistant handed me 2 cookies and tea, and it was a little weird to eat while I was staring at myself in all the mirrors. Mia was so excited that she was jumping around. She went to help her mom put her dress on in the changing room, and the 3 of us were left alone for a moment. "Can you believe this?" whispered Katie. "I'm never leaving," I said, nibbling on a cookie. "Hey, I wonder where they buy these cookies," said Alexis. Yeah, Alexis is trying to figure out how she could sell them cupcakes. Inspecting hers as if it would have a label on it. "We should ask Mona if they'd like us to supply them with cupcake minis. White cake with white frosting, of course." I laughed. "Look out, Bill Gates. There's a new mogul in town." "Seriously," said Alexis. "Actually, it's brilliant," I said. "Why don't you ask her? I would totally love to bake for her. Maybe we can drop off some samples for her next week." All I could think of was coming back again. What's up with the Kleenex everywhere?" asked Katie. "I noticed that too," I said. "Mia said it's because brides make people cry." Alexis grabbed a Kleenex and pretended to mop her eyes. "Oh, honey, you've never looked so lovely," she said dramatically. Sometimes Alexis can really be funny. The dress assistant came back with a cart laden with white dresses that hung in plastic protective covers. Then Mona came out and smiled as she watched us ooh and ah over the dresses. "Why don't you each select 2 to try on, and then we can have a fashion show," she suggested. We didn't need to be told twice. Katie went first, then Alexis. It was like playing princess for a day. Mona watched and laughed and clapped. While Alexis and Katie tried on their dresses, I tried to poke around on the rack to see if any had price tags on them, but none of them did. I started to worry again. Then I just chose the 2 plainest dresses I could find, because she's hoping they would be cheap, and sat down and waited my turn. While I waited, I picked up one of the lookbooks that Mona had laid out for us. Mia explained that a lookbook was like a catalog. This one looked like a photo album, but all of the pictures were dresses. It was filled with one beautiful dress after another. Alexis and Katie came to peer over my shoulders. Suddenly, I stopped flipping. In front of me was the prettiest dress I'd ever seen, excluding actual wedding dresses, of course. It was white, and the top was a fitted t-shirt kind of cut and short puffy sleeves. It had pleats cascading that were tulle. I know what that means. I knew it was tulle because it was the same material as the long tulle tutu Mama made for me one year for a recital. It looked like a fairy princess dress. Wow, I said, this is beautiful. My heart actually fluttered. It was that great. I love it, declared Katie. Love what? Asked Mia, coming out from her mom's changing room. Alexis smiled. Emma has found our dress, said Alexis. Uh-oh, I bet it's the most expensive one in the store. So Emma found a dress in the book that looks so great. Everyone else agrees it's great, and that's the one that everybody's going to get. That way they'll have matching dresses, which is good at a wedding. Let's see, said Mia eagerly. She rushed over. No way, she said solemnly. I don't believe it. She stood up and flung her arm out toward her mom's door. What? I asked. Here comes the bride. Okay, so Mia's mom is coming out dressed in her wedding dress so people can see what it looks like. So when Mia sees it, she says, I don't believe it. What? I asked. Here comes the bride, sang Mia's mom, emerging from the changing room. I gasped. Mrs. Vela's, that's Mia's mom, Mrs. Vela's dress was a nearly identical but grown-up version of the dress I had just found. It was like they were meant to be together. For a second, I forgot about our dresses, though, because Mrs. Vela's looked so beautiful. Her dress was strapless and her hair was pulled back. She looked really glamorous and not like a mom at all. Wow, was really all I could say. Oh, Ms. Velas, you look like cried Katie, suddenly speechless. Alexis nodded in mute agreement. A princess, I said. And it was true. Ms. Velas laughed. I do just love it. It's the prettiest dress I've ever worn. And it looks just like the dress Emma found in the book for us, declared Mia. Oh, I was embarrassed. I didn't mean to pick out everyone's dress for them. Plus, if it was like Mrs. Vela's dress, then it was probably really expensive. Great, said Ms. Velas. I just can't wait to see it. Let me just get this pinned, and I'll come take a look. They pin a dress sometimes to take measurements so that they can make an alteration so that it fits perfectly. So that's what she's there for. She's going to have the dress pinned so they can decide what the alterations are. Another drink. My voice is getting dry. Okay. Mona swooped over, her mouth filled with straight pins, and while Ms. Velas stood on a carpet-covered box, Mona began nipping and shortening, muttering, divine, just divine. It's divine, whispered Alexis in a high voice. I tried not to laugh. Mona, I think the girls found another dress to try on, said Ms. Velas, watching in the mirror as Mona worked. Patricia, please go look, said Mona, around a mouthful of pins. She has pins in her mouth because that's how she's holding onto the pins while she's pinning the dress. I wondered how she could talk like that. Patricia, who's the assistant, came over, and I pointed to the dress. Suddenly, I hoped they didn't have it, or that at least it was very cheap, or on sale. Oh no, what if it was a fortune? Oh yes, the Jumandra, that's the name of the dress, the Jumandra, so pretty. That might be in the shipment that came in this morning, said Patricia. Let me go look. My heart sank. Please let it be cheap. Let it be cheap. I repeated like a mantra in my head as Patricia flipped through the rack of dresses. Here it is, said Patricia. She plucked it from the wrap and whipped the clear plastic cover off of it. My heart fluttered again when I saw the dress. It was even prettier in real life, but I didn't want to get my hopes up. And the decision wasn't up to me anyway. But Katie, Mia, and Alexis all started yelling, That's it, that's it. You go try it on first since you found it, said Mia generously. No, I waved my hand. You go first. Or maybe you don't even want to try it. That's fine. I felt like a dork. Honey, Mia has tried on dozens of dresses already between her 2 visits here. You run and put it on. I know it will look lovely on you, said Mia's mom. Go on, Patricia will help you. Well, go, commanded Alexis. And I was up off the couch like a shot and into the changing room, practically ripping my skirt and sweater off in excitement. Patricia came in with me, which was a little embarrassing, but I just pretended that she was Mom. As I was standing in my undies, Patricia carefully removed the delicate dress from its padded satin hanger. Then, cautiously, she lowered it over my head. I poked my arms through, and Patricia buttoned me up. Then she gave me a pair of fancy satin shoes to slip on. Oh my gosh, I whispered as I saw myself in the mirror. Your hair might look pretty down, said Patricia. I pulled out my ponytail and shook my head. She was right. I felt like a fairy or a princess or a ballerina or all of them. It was a dreamy dress, a dream dress. Come out, called Mia. How does it look? Called Alexis. I almost didn't want to go out there. Maybe, I thought, just maybe it wasn't so much, but it had to be expensive. It looked terrible, I joked through the door. What? Cried Katie in alarm. Kidding, I said, and I spun around again. Ready? Patricia grinned at me. And then, oh, what the heck? I nodded yes, and Patricia flung open the door. Oh my God, said the Cupcake Club in unison. Oh my God, said Mia's mom. Apparently it is a really beautiful dress. And when I read to you next time, we're going to find out how much it costs and what they're going to do about it. So we're going to be up to chapter 6. It's called Princess Emma and the Dream Dress. We'll be up to chapter 6, and we're going to find those things out. I may have to peek ahead. I'm really curious about how much this costs. Anyway, hold on. Let me turn the camera around. Ooh.